Something I want to ask you, because I think many people, when they hear about your life and they hear that you've traveled everywhere and that you haven't stayed in one place for more than 3 or 4 months, I think a lot of people think about that and it seems like a very appealing fantasy. But I also know that that's something that you have to calibrate yourself to. And I'm curious, when you two began that way of life together, were you both immediately down for it and it was what you wanted to do, or did it take some getting used to, or did it just organically happen? I'm curious how that became your way of being.
We've never had a plan, we've never had when some people say, where do you want to be in 5 years, or we just really, we met in the ashram. I was 20, Miten was 43. I got singing through him because I just wanted to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then for us it was like we feel it's time to leave the ashram and the cocoon and that nest of the ashram, which we've been so cozy and happy in, and now we feel like we need to spread our wings and fly into the world and live in the world. But we want to share what we love from the ashram, and we know that this is worthwhile sharing, and that this is what we love to do. So we just started off like that, and we didn't think, oh, let's always travel, or let's not have a home, or let's do this for 30 years or anything. We book one in advance what we think feels good, so we don't have like long booking, so it's really whatever we feel good in the moment, pretty much. And we've been on the same, we just have felt the same way, there's not one saying, oh, but I want to stay home, or I want to have kids, or I want to have, I don't know, we were just both,
That's great.
Yeah. So there's no recipe, it's just luck, or I don't know, blessing, or I don't know.
Well, you mentioned wanting to sing with him, and one of the things when I was just reading this morning some of the materials that I was sent about you, I was struck by, not too surprised, but struck by that you weren't that confident with your singing voice when you started, which I thought, of course, is great because you're one of the most known voices in sacred music around the world. So I'm curious how that was for you. And also you said that you got into singing really because you just wanted to be with Miten. How did your voice emerge?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with music, so it wasn't like totally alien to me. I grew up with playing violin and piano, and my mom was a musician, and I was in a school that had focus on music, a slight focus on music. So I knew I was kind of musical in that way, but I also knew that there was nothing outstanding about my musical abilities, in school. I was not like some, but then and in Osho's ashram, in Osho's world, music is such a huge part of meditation. It's such a huge key and doorway into meditation. Either music to make us dance and celebrate and move the body and then come to a still silent space, or music that takes us more and more into silence. Not music for entertainment, not music for, social, not talking, like we would never talk while there was music playing. The band, if we had the musical nights in the meditation hall, we wouldn't be talking, obviously not, you just sing your heart out and you have your eyes closed and you dance so I love that so much. But I just never thought I would have anything special to contribute in as a singer or musician or anything. And then when I got together with Miten, I just said, look, maybe I could sing second voice, I mean, and I knew I could find a second voice. I knew I could hold a tune. I had a good ear for being in tune because of the violin playing. And the first time I did, I don't know if you read that, but the first time I asked him, he said, it's in tune, but it's not my style. He said, very English, very very diplomatic, I guess. And then I dropped it, and I thought, okay, what am I thinking, you know? And then a few months later, we sang together. He sang. He was sitting on the bed singing with his guitar, and I just joined in. And then he realized, wow, maybe there is a blend, you know, maybe there's some. So that was then my apprenticeship in being in the ashram, which is like actually the most challenging place to start singing, because we are singing to people who are completely receptive and perceptive and vulnerable, because they are there to meditate, you know, and whatever. Like, you just imagine there's 2,000-3,000 people sitting in silence in white. You can't even come in a meditation hall if you have a cough. It's pin drop silence, and you are there putting that first note into that silence, or you know, and you put the music into that silence. So it's very, very like magnified, you know, how it's received, what you put in there, where it comes from, you know, what space you are in, what you're putting out. So I had an amazing apprenticeship there, with Miten guiding me and understanding the power of music, and I really loved singing harmony with him. I didn't actually need anything else, you know. I just loved being this kind of, you know, these two birds flying together with the voices together. But also I felt I needed to find my own thing, you know, voice, to be able to, just for the relationship also, and for my own self-worth, and you know, just feeling like, yeah, I also have, you know, it was Miten and his girlfriend, because Miten was the one who was known in our world as the musician, you know. And that was when the mantras came back into my life, when after I had been already with him for 7 years. And that's when I rediscovered the Gayatri mantra. And then I realized, because before I couldn't sing alone, that was first 7 years, I would never ever open my mouth alone, you know, like, it just, not even in sound check. I was so shy and so insecure about being heard alone, because also English, like, I still can't really sing English alone, you know. I'm still, and I always feel it's this thing, you know, once we find our song or where we're at home, then things fall into place, you know. And that I didn't know that this was going to be actually the most obvious thing, which is, you know, the mantras that I had grown up with as a child, you know, and that I'd basically forgotten about, you know. I mean, kind of forgotten, you know, or left as something that was from my father, and I didn't really want to go back there, what he'd given me somehow, you know, didn't really. And then singing the Gayatri mantra and realizing I wasn't shy when I was singing it, and that actually it touched somebody else also, and it felt so natural and so easy. That was the big surprise and the big unfolding, and then just surprise, you know, big surprise.